We had the strongest economy in the world. We had our best ever. We had probably the best economy in the history of the world, bigger than China, bigger than anybody. And one day we have to say, close it up, stop. Everybody go home. And you know what? It's pretty tough to do that.
President Trump reacting to the impact the coronavirus is having on the U.S. economy.
701,000 jobs were lost and unemployment surged to 4.4% in the month of March. But as the administration ramps up relief efforts, will it be enough for an economic rebound?
Let's ask Labor Secretary Eugene Scalia, who joins us live now. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and to talk to the American public. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
What's your message to the many of Americans who are struggling out there right now and don't know what to do?
Well, let me start with what the president was saying in the clip you just ran. We did put out job numbers yesterday and on Thursday, which were distressing, high unemployment filings. Just a month ago, we put out a very strong report, which was similar to reports we'd been putting out for a couple of years. As the president said, we just had a robust, booming economy, but we've had to take these public health measures. So there's a silver lining there, which is that we start from a very strong foundation. We have policies in place that have been working for our economy. And what we need now is really tight discipline in adhering to the public health measures so we can beat this virus and get back to work quickly. I think we have the ability to do that.
Mr. Secretary, what's your message to small businesses? Because they're reaching out to get these loans. There's been some confusion. There's optimism that it will ultimately be helpful. Some of the bigger banks have been slow, and they're not yet online. What do you see? Set expectations for people that are looking for help right now.
Yeah, another silver lining in what we're seeing right now is how quickly the president and the government have responded, including this very large relief bill the president signed a week ago Friday. And that did include $350 billion in relief, not just for small business, but for their employees. About half of our workers in this country work for small businesses. This is $350 billion that are loans available to small businesses to tide them through what we're dealing with right now and to keep their employees on payroll. And if they keep them on payroll, these loans are largely forgivable. So I think that's a really valuable lifeline. I believe about $3 billion in loans were processed yesterday. Banks were coming online and making them available in the course of the day. It's a promising program, as well as the other relief in that legislation, including cash payments to taxpayers.
Mr. Secretary, let me ask you, May 8th is the next jobs report coming out. That, of course, we anticipate will be much worse, perhaps unprecedented likely, and send us into even darker times. How concerned are you about that? And as a result, will we need almost certainly another stimulus package on hand and ready to go?
Well, it is important to know that the report we put out yesterday, which did show those 700,000 in job losses, actually just covered the first part of March. We stopped collecting data at about the middle of the month. And as you know, the middle of the month is when a lot of these statewide closures started. The next report in May, yeah, it'll pick up the first couple of weeks of April as well as the end of March, and we'll see higher losses. This is different than any economic downturn we've ever had in American history, because it's purposeful. We are doing this on purpose to combat the virus, but it's also temporary, and that's good news. It's purposeful, it's temporary. The more disciplined we are now, the quicker we can spring back and get people back to work. But we know there's going to be another difficult job report, but more importantly, we know that a lot of Americans are struggling right now.
You mentioned it being temporary. We don't know how long this is going to go on. We don't know at what point our economy is going to be able to bounce back and people are going to get back to their jobs. But I'm wondering how much hope you have that our economy will be able to bounce back quickly once this is said and done.
I do have hope in that because of how strong the economy was just weeks ago, because what we're experiencing was not at the outset an economic problem. It was a health emergency that has required these just extraordinary measures, but they are by design temporary. They have to be short term, really, for our national well-being. And we've seen Congress, the president, acting quickly to provide relief. But I emphasize again how important it is to be disciplined on the health measures that are being urged as well.
Mr. Secretary, as someone who's involved with the task force, not formally, but you're around it, you're in these discussions, the healthcare side is dominated. Ultimately, the economic prospects in the future are going to really start to hit people. Where are you going to fall down when it comes to national guidelines for health that have impact on our economic environment, or should states and local municipalities, as we draw out of this, start to make their own decisions? What's best for our economic health?
I think that in the short term, our economic health depends on taking these public health measures very seriously with respect to the virus. But I think we all recognize at the same time we can't look just at the health side. We have to maintain our economic infrastructure. We have to maintain our national defense, for that matter, which depends in part on our economic health. So the president, we all know, is looking at all sides of this, and I think we can be confident he will continue to do so.
We got a big job. Thank you for joining us this morning, Mr. Secretary. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
My
Mr.
pleasure.
Secretary.
Thank you.
Thank you.